Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMTrading. Today is August 9, 2021, and today is Monday morning. So looking at the highlights of today, the markets waver on summer trading. Now, I'm just getting back from a summer vacation extended, so we're back to normal on the morning review. Now, looking at the major economic events of the day, nothing scheduled, but as we look at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, the US dollar continues to strengthen across the board. In terms of the indices, the Dow Jones on its highs, while the NASDAQ is looking to rebound. In terms of commodities, gold, wow, what a huge swing, down to 1684 and then back. Oil on support as it's trading lower. And looking at the stock, Microsoft and Alcoa remaining strong. And lastly, looking at Bitcoin, is it the end of the rally from 29,000 to 46,000? We're going to take a look at that as well. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're going to start out with the Euro USD, and you can see that we're at this bottom of this range, really just bottom 1760-ish level. But this is really across the board, except for the Aussie USD, which is looking a little bit stronger. GBP USD also look a little bit stronger, but most of the markets are tapering off to its lows. If we look at the Turkish lira, that's where it's really at. Some of this thinner types of currency pairs where it's much lighter type of trading and a little bit more exotic pairs, the moves are a little bit more extreme, including the South African rand. And we're hitting here at 863. If we look at a weekly chart, that's close to our all-time highs as this has continued to gain back some of those losses, the dollar gaining back, the Turkish lira being very, very weak. And if we look at some of the other currencies, and lastly at the rand, on that 1466-ish level, on that resistance-ish level, but just tapering off right below it. So the dollar remaining strong. I do expect the dollar to actually weaken here as we're on several supports across the board, not just in one currency. So it's something to look at later today. Now jumping into the commodities, looking at gold. Look at this massive move we had last week. And going into today, we're actually rebounding this move from 1686 up to 1750. We do have a resistance at 1760-ish level, so just be aware of it. But that's a massive move in such a short time period, 1805, falling out of bed. I mean, that really is that bottom. I mean, if we look at this area, okay, at this 1686, this is really where to have bought it, okay? If you did catch it, good for you. But looking at it right now, okay, it isn't a rebounding kind of environment right now. 1760 is your resistance, so just keep in mind if it does close that gap. Now, looking at oil. Oil is trading lower at that 66.59. Previous resistance, subsequent support. Let's look at that. That is a resistance. That's resistance. That's subsequent support. So this is a really important level. If it does breach this level on the downside, we could see it hit 60.88, maybe even breaking $60. Okay, as the markets are kind of addressing this COVID crisis of this Delta variant that is just wreaking havoc internationally. Okay, so this coronavirus is not going away. Situation is getting more and more dire as we continue with this over a year and a half into the making. Now looking at the Dow Jones, still on its highs though, okay, for 35,026, okay, just off of its highs, maybe 50 to 60 points, okay, really choppy market last week, but did rebound. Now looking at the NASDAQ, a nice rebound, an aggressive rebound of 15,084. Now the question is, how much further is it going to go? If we look at the individual stocks, Microsoft is really the only one that's on its all-time highs here, okay, at that 288-ish level. If we look at Facebook, it rebounded, but nothing making new highs. I'd like to see those new highs. Like if we look at Amazon, it's kind of weak after it came out with poor results, okay, and not really trading higher here. Now it's still strong. It's close to its highs, okay, only $300 or $400 away from its all-time highs. But nevertheless, it's not breaking higher. Now looking lastly at Apple, also on its highs, but again, not breaking out higher. I'd like to see that follow through if that does come through. Now looking at Alcoa on its highs, okay, this is really on its highs as it's challenging this $41 again as it's closing in at that 42,000. So I'm looking at some of the not the high tech stocks, but individual stocks to take us higher, possibly later today. Now we are in the balance of the summer, so it's really lighter volume until we get into September, the first after Labor Day weekend, which is usually the first Sunday of the first week of September. Now jumping into lastly Bitcoin. Okay, this is where it's at 43,000. As it's closing in on that 46,000, it looks like it's tapering off here, and it's coming at the exhaustion of that second rally. Okay, usually it's the ABC move, but I think that this is actually going to not extend itself higher here. I think we're going to taper off a little bit here, maybe back to this 40,000-ish level, okay, because this has some resistance at this area, because this was previous support, subsequent resistance. So, you know, if it does break above this 44,000, then we could see it hit that 48,000-ish area. But we're at that point where we look like we're exhausting that second move, and we may taper off. Okay, so just keep in mind as we look at the RSI, we are breaking out lower here as well. So something to consider as we enter this week. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day, and welcome back. Thank you.